Hi guys, and welcome to Curveball, the podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Soph. Welcome. We made it.
We made it.
Ta-da!
We have been trying to get on board with this podcast for a very long time now.
It has been a labour of love, and we are so excited to be here. So excited to finally bring this to the world.
I know.
I feel like between us, we've got so much to share, so many hilarious stories. Kaylee's stories literally have me in stitches. So much body wisdom, body confidence, self-acceptance. There's just so much coming.
I mean, this is why one of the reasons we wanted to start the podcast is you probably don't know us. We are both curve models and we've been in the fashion industry for a long time now.
Too long.
And we have got so many stories on the fashion industry and just in general. We just really want to bring a community of women together in a safe space to chat body positivity, self-love and just grow together.
I love that. Safe space, warm hug.
That's exactly what I want to feel.
That's what we keep saying.
You know, we don't want to
warm hug.
listen to all the gossip all the time. We want to just feel good listening to a podcast, and that's what hopefully Curveball is going to bring to.
A little bit of gossip, dating stories, sex stories, heartbreak. It's all coming. We've got some cracking episodes lined up. And today we thought that what we would do is let you get to know us a little bit of a quick fire. Welcome to the intro episode. There's so many spicy bits in here, so many funny bits in here. Let's dive into it.
Yes.
And I'm going to start with, tell us about a curveball in your life.
A big curveball in my life was actually during the pandemic. I hit 30. They call it Saturn return, right?
Yes, they do.
Where, is it the planets that align when you were first born, come back around, and everybody seems to have
shit gets messy.
Yeah, between 27 and 30. Now that's true, and I mean, if the audience resonate with that, something's happened, something big, a big breakup or a big move, just a big shift in your life, normally happens around this age. And for me, I had a breakup, the pandemic hit, and I ended up getting a spiritual mentor, and I had a big flip in life, and I was like, what was I doing before? I was just living in a life that just had no intention. And everything just changed for me then, and I just went down a different direction. And I think the Saturn return was my curveball.
I mean, that's the biggest curveball you'll ever go through.
Yeah, well, I think so. Maybe 1 to 60 again, though.
Yeah, that's another one coming.
Yeah, what about yours?
Mine was a little bit different. So I have been modelling since I was 15, and when I was 25, I had a major surgery in which I donated part of my liver to my baby nephew. And that just completely flipped my life on its head. I went from being a size 6 model for 10 years to a size 16 within 18 months of surgery. I had a new 7-inch scar down my stomach. Wow. We'll dive into the liver story on another episode. Yeah. And that's what I want to kind of say actually about these quick fire questions. Yeah. There's some bits in here you're going to be like, what? Tell us more. And they're all going to be an episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
So liver donor. And my little nephew's thriving and doing really well, and he's gorgeous. Because I always forget to add that bit on of the story, and people are like, what?
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Oh, good. That's a massive curveball. You basically donated an organ.
Yeah.
That is huge.
It came with a lot. But yeah, that was my curveball.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what did you do before modelling?
So I didn't really have a before modelling. So I started modelling when I was 15.
Of course you did.
So there wasn't really a before, but there has been a during. So I've not always modelled full time. I have got a degree in psychology. I worked in psych, worked in mental health, worked in the Priory with loads of celebrities. Yeah, I also worked in football management. Yeah, in an office of 30 men in Chelsea when I lived in London.
Really?
Yeah. So I've had normal jobs. I was a nanny when I first moved to Sydney. Yeah. And then I've kind of always modelled alongside that. Ran my own business in skincare for a little while. Yeah. Worked in sales and marketing. But yeah, there was no before modelling for me.
It was always.
For you there was. And when you told me this nearly died, what did you do before modelling?
I'm an accountant.
Chartered accountant.
I actually genuinely I am a qualified accountant, and people, I don't know why does that surprise people.
It's just not a normal career alongside curve modelling.
Do you know what? I kind of fell into it. I always wanted to be a magazine editor. Always wanted to do modelling, but I was always a bit of the ugly duckling at school. I kind of didn't come into myself until I was in my 20s. Yeah. And modelling was never the first choice for me ever. I dreamt of it, but I never thought it would happen.
Did you see? I never even thought about modelling before it happened.
Did you not?
I've never thought about it. No one had ever said it to me. It just wasn't a conversation.
Yeah, no, mine was always in the back of my head. I always wanted to be a model, but I suppose growing up in 2000s was very different for us.
Very true.
Which we will go into more in the podcast, but I ended up, my family are farmers. We have businesses around us. I ended up falling into it. And yeah, I ended up working for the family
They were
business.
like, we need an accountant.
We need an
Off you
accountant.
go.
And then I ended up doing 2-3 jobs at the same time. Oh, it was a nightmare. Yeah, I went from working at Tesco, cashier, to an accountant.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah. But I always thought, people used to say to you, always have like a backup. So that was my backup.
Yeah,
I'd
sounds
never
good.
do it again.
Brains and beauty.
thanks,
Yeah,
man.
that's like me, mental health backup, but I'm not doing that.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And people are like, what are you going to do after modelling?
Podcast.
Well, I'm like, carry on for life. They do 80-year models
Yeah,
now.
100%. We can model forever. We've got this. What is your relationship like with your body?
My relationship has been very up and down with my body. And I think, again, I don't know if that's an age thing or just in the society that we live in. I have a very healthy relationship with my body now, but it's taken a while to feel like that. And it's taken a lot of work as well. And this is what we're going to dive into a lot in the podcast, is like the inner healing and self-love. Because I genuinely used to penalise myself with food, and you've had a very similar situation, right? But
absolutely. I struggled with disordered eating for a really long time. And then I've kind of now made my whole career about helping women boost their self-esteem and feel more confident, because I kind of feel like I've got a duty of, I don't know, like a sense of responsibility.
A duty of care,
Duty
yeah,
of
I know
care,
what you
that's what
mean.
it feels like, because I've been able to heal and I know how much more free my life is now, that I don't wake up every day and hate my body. And I know this might sound crazy coming from two models, but do you know what I mean?
We're the complete opposite though. This is the thing. And we're curve models.
Yeah.
Like,
but also I think it's just that comparison game, isn't it? Where you would look at a model and think that they would love every inch of themselves, but no one does. And so I think that's something that I'm super passionate about, helping women get to that space where they can wake up every day and not look in the mirror and love themselves, because that's not where you get to, but you get to a place where you're just not as bothered and you just start to focus on way more important things.
yeah, exactly. Do you think though as well, like, again, we'll dive into this more, but like there's self-love and there's also like vanity. Do you know? I think there's a big line between that, because
100%.
self-love's inner work and the vanity and the selfishness is like an outer thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I love that. That's a good topic.
Yeah.
Let me throw a curveball on these questions. What turns you on?
Oh God, there's a few things. I mean, like a 6'9" guy could help
6'9"?
essentially.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm 5'11", just to add. I'm not like.
Kaylee dated a guy recently who had to have his shoes made. His feet were that big. Hi. What turns you on? Big feet.
Big feet.
Do you know what turns me on? Emotional intelligence.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
An emotionally intelligent man who is not reactive, who is in his strong, masculine, healed energy. I am horny.
Mate, I'm telling you, I do not know where these men are. I cannot. It's killing me because, right, actually, I'm single.
Yes. I am not. I'm in a relationship, have been for 2 years, but I'm not married, don't live with him.
Okay, right. I'm very much single, very much single. And let me tell you, the dating game right now is so fucking hard. I can't even, it's the worst it's ever been. No offense to these men, but like the feminine energy of men is really flipped recently. And I'm really struggling to find a man. But also, like, there's the feminine energy, but it's more that people just don't know themselves. Like, just want someone who's worked on themselves a little bit, like, emotionally available.
I'm not dating anyone if they've not been to therapy.
Oh my God, me too. Like, if you've got trauma, go to therapy.
I have spent tens of thousands of pounds working on myself and doing therapy. Why should I have to date someone who is unhealed?
Oh, preach.
Emotionally intelligent men, that is what turns me on. And I do like a cheeky finger. How'd you get into modelling?
What?
How did you get one? He's got big fingers.
And how did you get into modelling?
I got scouted at London Euston by the owner of one of the agencies that we're both with, Debs.
Yeah.
I was 15. I was an absolute beanpole. I was 5'9", barely weighed 50 kilos. And at the time it was like...
50 kilos?
I weighed nothing. I had an eating disorder. And it was the time of Nothing Tastes as Good as Skinny Feels, Kate Moss. So I looked very model-esque because I was just all bone. And I got scouted and I had never really thought about modelling, and I was 15, so and I was really awkward in myself. I think obviously because I had such deep self-hatred with disordered eating and all of that jazz. Anyway, Deb scouted me and she was like, just do a test shoot, see how it goes, see what you think. So there I was, 15, October on Formby Beach in a bikini in the sea with Sarah Jones, who is still one of my favourite photographers.
That is hilarious.
Shout out Sarah Jones. And then I just fell into it from there because it was kind of like, let's see how it goes. And then I started booking work. And then 18 years later, here we are.
18 years.
18 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it? How did you get into modelling?
Mine was a bit different. I was like 19 years old and I actually did it through, I'd say, the pageant world.
I didn't know that. Did you do the pageant world?
I did do the pageant world.
Like Miss England? Miss World? Are you Miss World?
Oh, well, now it sounds shit. I was
Miss
Miss Sheffield.
No, you weren't. You were Miss Sheffield.
I was Miss Sheffield.
I didn't know that.
I was Miss Sheffield when I was 19 years old. And I'll tell you something, like,
need
again,
pictures.
I actually,
We
yeah.
need pictures.
I did not think I was going to win at all.
Oh my God.
Right, and I was literally ordering a Chinese downstairs in the back when there was shouting out the winners. I swear to God, I was literally ringing up for a Chinese to get ordered for when me and my family, got back. Because my family were there, my ex-boyfriend, and they all came to see us on stage. And I was so nervous at the time, like...
Oh, quick Chinese calm the nerves.
Have a quick Chinese ready because I was starving. We'd been at it all day. And and then it was like, Kaylee Faye Hewitt. I was like, I'm Miss Sheffield. Miss Sheffield. So from then on...
Was that a good experience?
Amazing experience. And then I got into Miss England, obviously. Actually, I did the semi-finals for Miss England, got through top 10, and then got to the finals, and then I obviously didn't come anywhere in it. I was never going to be any part of, like, Miss England. I was not the girl next door, you know?
Yeah.
Not that.
Yeah, they're looking for a very, like, particular type of,
And as much as I love that experience...
Not us talking about liking a cheeky finger.
Yeah, and I was very sensible back then.
Were you? I can't imagine sensible Kaylee.
I bought my first property when I was 19. I just bought the house, actually, when I won Miss Sheffield.
Very sensible Kaylee.
She has done a U-turn.
Yeah, I was off being a hood rat and now I'm sensible.
See, I did it, opposite. But that's how I started from that. And then I ended up, I did love it that much because I met so many great people. I started doing photo shoots and building up my confidence because I really didn't have any then. And I ended up doing it another year after. I was Miss Every Model. Big shout out actually to Ruth who ran Miss Every Model because if it wasn't for her, no, she taught me so much and she's an amazing woman and she got me into modelling agencies. I was doing magazine shoots and from that's where it kind of came from and just kind of fell into it. But back then, you know, I was always a size 10, 12, which back then was big.
Huge.
Like, genuinely, I was a plus size then. Like, are you joking? So I could only do lingerie and bridal wears because I had big boobs. Like,
she's got big titties.
Big titties. And no ass. I've got a 90s ass.
I think there's a lot to be said for those women early on in your career, whatever you work in, who kind of nurture you and support you and guide you. And I think that's kind of where we're at with the podcast as well. Like, I am on set so often with young models and young girls who are kind of like, you could just see they're so wide-eyed and looking for all of your wisdom. And I always feel amazing when I get to pass on a little bit of, this is what I've learned and this is what wish I'd done differently. And, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. Your 20s are for figuring it all out. So are your 30s. I think your 40s might be as well.
I think so.
I think that's kind of where the pod has been born from as well, because there's so much that we want to pass on. Yeah, 100%. This is a good one. Do you believe in soulmates?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you?
I am such an old soul, though. Yeah, I'm honestly, I am a sucker for love. I love love.
So when you say you believe in soulmates, do you think there's one person?
No. Right. I believe that we have, I have multiple soulmates over different times because we grow. You know, my soulmate from 10 years ago is not my soulmate now. Yeah. You know, I think we grow and you transition, you meet different people and it just registers. Like, also, I don't believe it's just a love.
Not just romantic.
It's romantic, yeah. I believe it could be friendships, for instance. Yeah. Like, going off tangent, but like when we met, we've only met a couple of times just to add this in. Yeah. We actually have only met a couple of times. Yeah.
Literally just to plan the pod. We've never met prior to that. Knew who each other were, yeah.
But I was like, I've known Soph in another life. Like, it's really weird.
We act and behave like we've been friends for 10 years. Yeah. Like, we take the piss out of each other constantly. There's very much that energy. So I know what you mean.
And don't you think there's a lot to say? Like, I believe that we have had several lives and you had different soulmates throughout,
So I agree. I believe in soulmates. What I do not believe in, hear me now, is these people who say they have found their soulmate, like the one person on the planet that you were supposed to connect with, and they met him in high school in maths class. And I'm like, I'm just not being funny. But the chances of the one person out of however many billions of people there are on the planet that you're supposed to connect with is not Matthew that you sat next to in maths class. It's just not. I'm not having it. Leave your village. It's not Matthew. There's a lot of sexy men out there.
I don't get this, because how is it that everybody can meet their Matthew at high school and I've travelled the world and I still can't meet my Matthew? Like, come on now, where's the fuck is my soulmate?
Your Matthew is not in the village.
It is not in the village, it's not worldwide. I've been everywhere. Like, what's going on?
I'm going to ask the question that you're not supposed to ask.
Go on.
Do you want kids?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, I do want children.
Okay. And you are 34 and you're not in a relationship. So again, I'm going to ask the question that I'm not supposed to ask because I can, because it's the pod. How do you feel about that? Is there a lot of pressure?
Yeah, I feel a lot of pressure at the moment, to be honest. But then, right, so I'm going to go in between this.
Yeah, go.
I've felt a lot of pressure for years. I'm
Yes.
surrounded, all my best friends are married with children. I'm surrounded by children. I've got so many nieces and nephews, it's ridiculous. Even though I'm an only child, I adopt them all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surrounded by kids. I love children. I've always thought that I was meant to be a young mum. My friends would say, like, I'm a mum without a child, like, seriously.
Yeah.
But this last year, I think because I've finally actually taken my own advice, done a big journey in self-love and just been a bit more selfish, there's something in me at the moment. I'm not rushing for it.
Good.
I don't want a child. I want a family.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think
you don't want
that's...
to do it with the wrong person.
Exactly. They're in your life forever. And I've seen
know,
it in
big
relationships,
time.
especially with my friends now. You're seeing it. And I'm like, they have the best relationships, but some haven't. And I don't want that.
We're at the age now where everyone's going through the first divorces and we've just managed to skip them.
That's it. And so my next partner is going to marry my partner for life. That's when I have the children, hopefully. Fingers
You're
crossed.
Matthew from maths class.
Matthew can you imagine? Like, I've
Maybe
done
you
all
take
that.
like a night course in maths.
I need something. Jokes. But what about...
You do feel the pressure.
Yeah, I do feel the pressure a little bit. But like I said, I've done a bit of
You've
a
let go of it.
journey. And this
Yeah.
year I have. We'll go into it more. Like, I've just come back from Bali. And I feel like that's made me feel a lot less pressure.
I'm with you.
Because I'm seeing people that aren't with children in their 40s striving that still will probably be able to have children now because
time.
things change.
There's
Healthcare
options.
changed. It's fine. There's so many options. What about you? Because you're in a relationship now.
I am in a relationship. We've been together for a couple of years. Oh God, if I'm ovulating, I want children. If I'm on period, I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't it flip?
Massively.
God, our hormones
so
are
when I'm
nuts,
ovulating,
mate.
I see these little babies and I'm like, oh my God, I love babies, but teenagers, Christ. No, so real talk, I have wanted kids my whole life. Like, I've always been absolutely certain that I would want kids and I would want a family. Very similarly to you, I really thought it would have happened by now. I was in a 9-year relationship in Oz. We were coming up to being ready for having kids. So there's been a lot of stages throughout my life where I could have done it, I nearly did it, it was on the horizon. But the older I'm getting, the more I'm starting to question, do I have space? Do I have the emotional capacity? My life is absolutely amazing. It's full of joy. It's full of abundance. I travel. I do all of these things. I'm very selfish, and I say that in a positive way. That right now, I'm so focused on my career, on the podcast, on all the things we've got going on, that I just don't have room for it right now.
Yeah.
I am 34, and I just think, I feel the same as you. As much as people say you've not got time, you need to freeze your eggs, I'm really trusting that it's going to unfold as it unfolds. I think it will probably happen, but there's also a bit of peace if it doesn't. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's a really good place to be,
Yeah.
actually, because, trust the process.
Trust the
Trust
process.
the process. That's literally my favourite saying of the year. Trust the process.
Well, this is a tangent off the back of that because that was quite emotional. Morning or nighttime sex?
Both. I'd like any right now. I can't have any.
Both.
Unless it's with myself.
Any time of the day, which is beautiful and important and a good part of self-love.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Yeah, by yourself.
We've got a great episode coming on sex. You guys are going to love it. Nighttime sex, because I like to get freaky, and in the morning I'm just a bit of a grump. So I'll be like, get me a coffee and then we'll get freaky, but not just like, don't yell.
Wait, what? Hold on a minute. Can I
Not
just
like
think it?
morning
Wait,
sex.
what do you mean? What, just like to the side?
What do you mean to the side?
You know.
Yeah, but I just find that a bit boring. I like to be like, woo, ride 'em cowboy. But not at 7 a.m.
Absolutely not. No.
Do you believe everything happens for a reason?
Absolutely. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I'm a big fiend on trust the process.
Yes.
I think, though, I've had to get my mind around that, and my mentality has flipped a lot to believe that. Because, and I'll ask you this, don't you believe, like, also, that when we say everything happens for a reason, is there anything that you regret that the outcome is going to be any different to what it is now?
I know, 100%. Even when it's so painful in the moment and you cannot find any reason, it always makes you the person that you've become, and you always end up being proud of the person you've become. So I 1,000,000% think everything happens for a reason. And it's a very peaceful way to live your life. Everything happens for a reason, because you do just trust. So even when you're in the depths of hell, you know it will make sense.
This happened, like going through a breakup or any sort of trauma in your life and only grieving, I think sitting in and being like, okay, in a year's time, I'm going to look back at this and be like, okay, this happened for this reason.
Made me the person I am today. I wouldn't be the person I am today without that experience, no matter how horrendous. And we've both had some horrendous experiences, and we will dive into those. But would I change them? I don't know.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a whirlwind.
Wasn't it just?
Intro episode in the bag. We hope that you guys have got a bit of a feel for us, a bit of a feel for how the pod is going to be, and that we've sort of teased your taste buds a little bit on some of the spicy topics coming up.
Absolutely.
And what you've got to look forward to.
And the next couple of episodes, to be fair, are just going to get better and better because we have got some great stories for you guys.
Next episode to look forward to is New Year, Same Old Me. So this is all about the pressure of January and transforming your life and feeling like you just have to be happy on January 1st and you have to get your shit together and lose 10 stone overnight and do all of that. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to give you all of our wisdom, all of our tips on making sure that you embrace January in all the right ways. Thanks for listening to Curveball, the podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and watch us. Do all the things. We love you. We appreciate you.
We love your feedback, guys. Feel free to throw us a curveball of your own, and we'll see you next time.